Here's an example of solving an equation by completing the square. This equation I just made up, so 2x squared plus 16, oops, I need an x here, 16x minus 4. So when you're going to solve an equation by completing the square, often the first thing that you'll do, and I will do it in this case, is get all the terms with x's to one side and all the terms without x's to the other side. So this minus 4 term, let's get it to the other side. That gives us 2x squared plus 16x equals 4. Now, to complete the square, it's easiest to do if the coefficient on your leading term, on the squared term, is equal to 1. Right now we have a 2 here. We'd rather have a 1 there. That's okay. All we have to do is divide everything by 2. So divide the left-hand side by 2, divide the right-hand side by 2. And on the left-hand side, this gives us x squared plus 8x. And on the right-hand side, we have 2. Okay. Now the next part in completing the square is we need to figure out what the missing part of the perfect square is. So we know if we do things just right, this left-hand side will be a perfect square. It's just there's a piece missing here. Right, and we need to figure out what this missing piece is. Unfortunately, there's a recipe that always tells you what the missing piece is, as long as you have a leading coefficient of 1 in front of your x squared here. Okay, so the recipe is you take the coefficient on the x term, right? That's 8. You divide that by 2, so that's going to give us a 4. And then you take that and you square it, so that's 16. Okay. So on both sides of the equation, we're going to add 16, since that's the missing part of the square. Okay. So that's going to give us x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals, and on the right-hand side, 2 plus 16, that's 18. Now, if we've done things right, this left-hand side should be a perfect square, and there's actually even a shortcut to tell you what it should be the perfect square of. So it should be x plus something squared, and if you go back up to our perfect square calculation here, this piece right here, after we divided by 2 but before we squared, that's actually what goes right here. So this left-hand side should be x squared plus 8x plus 16. We wrote x plus 4 squared. If you multiply this x plus 4 squared back out, you get x times x, which is x squared. You get x times 4 and 4 times x, which is 8x total, and then 4 times 4 is 16. So this left-hand side really is the perfect square, x plus 4 all squared. So we have x plus 4 squared equals 18. All right, now we can finish solving by taking square roots. So take square root on both sides of this, and you get, on the left-hand side, x plus 4. On the right-hand side, you get plus or minus, let's see, that's going to be 3 root 2, I think. You can work on simplifying that square root if you want. And now we just need to subtract 4 on both sides. And we get x equals negative 4 plus or minus 3 square root 2. And we're all done. Let me know if you want any more examples like that.